As the story begins, we see a few adventurers fighting against a monster, and the main protagonist is Rude. I meant his name is Rude, and he is the party's tank whose role is to draw all enemies' attacks and protect the party members. He narrates that although his role is seen as weakest among powerful adventurers, this is his story on how he became the main protagonist. The scene then shifts to Rude daydreaming about his Siscon development, but just then his party's healer named Neen wakes him up, and reminds him that they are in the guild. She knows that he was dreaming about his sister, and asks him to show romantic interests in other girls as well, but the Siscon lover mentions that no one is cuter than his sister Manisha, making Neen annoyed. He then mentions that his sister has an incurable disease, and his only hope is the secret treasure of the Labyrinth that is said to grant any wish, but after his performance in yesterday's battle it seems impossible to him. Neen is surprised about how fast his shield energy got depleted yesterday even though he didn't get any hit, and he mentions that this has been happening lately whenever he enters the Labyrinth. He also apologized to her for consuming too much potions which caused more strain on her as the party's healer, but she tells him that he's the party's main protector who has the highest shield value of 9,999, and it's because of him that they've been able to fight so much. Just then, a guy named Keild arrives with two girls, and everyone is surprised to see a hero. We learn that Rude is part of the hero party, and Keild introduces two new party members to the team. Neen mentions that Labyrinth rules allow only parties up to 6 people, but they are now 7. Keild then mentions it will be fine as he's kicking out Rude from his party. Rude is shocked, and Keild mentions about his weak performance in his recent battles. He points out how he instantly lost his shield power during the battle, and thinks that they won't make any progress with him in their party. Neen tries to defend him, but he mentions that they could have been killed due to Rude's weak ability. Also, the new members he brought can fight while dodging the enemy attacks unlike Rude, who can only defend. Rude accepts his decision, and decides to leave the party. Keild also takes out Rude's sword as a compensation for yesterday's battle, and leaves. Rude then bids farewell to Neen, and hopes to meet again someday. Later, Rude reflects about the incident, and wonders if any of his skill is causing the shield energy to deplete rapidly. Just then, he hears some D-rank adventurers who have taken up an escort job to Kōryaku. Rude realizes that he needs to go to Avancia, and it's on the way, so he asks them to let him join them. They inquire about his rank, and he thinks that he's an F rank since he spent all his time in labyrinths. He hesitates to reveal it, but one of the girls recognizes him from the hero party, and they let him join them. Rude tries to tell them his rank, but just then, the merchant they are supposed to escort arrives, and they set out on their journey. They face many challenges on their way, and after a few days they're about to reach Kōryaku, but a thick fog surrounds them. Rude senses someone in the fog, and goes to check it out. He sees a little girl, and notices that no one else is nearby, so he thinks that this isn't a trap. He approaches the scared girl, and he notices that the girl has a gem around her chest. Just then, a huge forest snake monster appears, and the adventurers are shocked to see it. Looking at its size, they think that they can't beat it, and the snake charges at them. Rude uses his skill to provoke the snake, and it attacks Rude with its poison. He defends its attack, but gets thrown away. He recalls his sister, and thinks that he can't die here. He tells the adventurers that they need to work together, and asks them to attack the snake, while he'll protect them against all the attack. Rude then blocks the snake's attack, and the adventurers keep attacking it. The snake then prepares for a finishing blow, but Rude blocks its attack, and adventurers deliver the finishing blow. They can't believe that they defeated a forest snake, and thanks Rude for his help. After that, Rude checks in on the girl, and learns that she doesn't have any place to go, so he asks her to join him, to which she agrees. The merchant then gives her a dress to wear, and wonders if she's an escaped slave. Rude mentions that she's a homunculus, and they serve as human slaves, but thinks that slave traders don't usually enter forest. Since she doesn't have a collar, he decides to look after her for now. Later, they reach their destination, and the adventurers request him to join their party, but he declines the offer as he needs to find the secret treasure for his sister. One of the party members mentions that the secret treasure can be used to create homunculus, and expresses their dislikes towards them. Rude notices that their talk is troubling the little girl, so he stops the conversation, and bids them farewell. On the way, Rude introduces himself to the little girl, but learns that she doesn't have a name, and names her Luna. Later at night, they have dinner somewhere in the forest, and Luna notices some monsters are about to attack them, but she easily kills them all. Rude is surprised, and thinks that Luna must be an illegally created homunculus as she has her own will and can even fight. He recalls that when he saw her frightened when they met, it reminded him of his sister, and he couldn't abandon her. Rude thinks that if Luna is this skilled she would have defeated the forest snake, but she mentions that she's only skilled with magic, and doesn't have any skill with weapons. Rude then learns that she has the ability to enhance magic, but he's more shocked when he learns that she possesses a rare identify skill. He asks her to use her ability to identify his skills, and she tells him that he has 4 skills. The first one is Provoke, which attracts enemies' attention, the second is Healthy Body, which makes him immune to status effects, the third one is Life Conversion, which allows him to use his depleted shield energy into strength, and last one is Shield of Sacrifice, which allows him to take the damage of his allies, and increases toughness of his allies along with him. Rude learns that this is the reason behind his depleting shield energy, and he was unknowingly taking all the damage of his party members. After learning about his skills, now he knows how to use them properly, and thanks Luna for this. The following day they reach Avancia, and Rude reflects on how he was kicked out of his party because of his weak skills, but now that he has learned about his skills, he can use it to become stronger. As the story continues, Rude and Luna arrive at Avancia. Just then, a girl named Milena runs up to him, and hugs him tightly. As he's about to be suffocated by her giant plots, another girl named Phil pulls her away. Phil then tells him that his sister is doing fine, as she checked on her during her patrol, and he tells her that he can only go on adventures because he knows townsfolk like her are watching over his sister. He then introduces them to Luna, and explains how he found her during his adventure. The girls introduce themselves, however, Phil is a bit more shy, and gets teased by Rude. After that, they head home, and as they enter, Rude smells his favorite tomato dish, and learns that his sister had prepared it for him. He's excited to see his sister, and introduces Luna to her, explaining the circumstances due to which he decided to bring her along with him. Manisha then directs them to the dining table, and goes to prepare another portion of the dish. Luna notices Manisha's hair that's constantly moving, and Rude explains that it's due to her condition which causes her hair to move according to her emotions. Rude offers to help his sister, and wonders if she used her ability to know about his arrival, but she says that she just had a feeling he would come, so she made his favorite dish, making Rude even more happy. After that, they have the meal prepared by Manisha, and notice Luna holding the spoon in an unusual way. Luna starts apologizing for her behavior, and says that she had only used it when she was with the group of lost children in the forest. Manisha tells her that there's no need to apologize, and teaches her how to hold a spoon. She tells her that she'll teach her things one at a time, and Luna can take her time learning it, which makes her happy. After that, Rude and Manisha teach her other things like reading, cleaning, and cooking. After some time, one day Luna prepares breakfast, and Rude and Manisha are delighted by its taste. Rude is impressed at how Luna was able to master every basic life skill in just a few days, and wonders if it's because she's a homunculi. After that, they decide to give Luna a tour of their town, and Manisha gives her a dress. She tries to help her change, but Luna declines her offer, and Rude realizes that she didn't want Manisha to see her magic stone. Later, Rude takes Luna to the town, and mentions that the town doesn't have a church or an adventurer's guild. It has just one blacksmith and a pharmacy, and the most remarkable feature is its orchard. Just then, he meets Milena's father named Razel, who asks if he's here to spread his seeds inside her daughter. Rude denies it, and introduces him to Luna. He then tells him that he had lost his magic sword, and Razel agrees to make him a new one. After that, he takes Luna to a monster farm where vegetables grow into monsters. Just then, two kids ask him if Luna is his girlfriend, but he denies it, and they tease him for being obsessed with his sister. A grandma scolds the kids to get back to work, and Luna has a flashback of her past where she worked as a slave. Rude introduces the grandma as Gigi, who makes medicines for Manisha, and she tells him that Luna reminds her of Manisha when she first met her. Few soldiers arrive, asking Rude about Luna, and it looks like the whole town knows that he has a siscon. After that, they spend time harvesting the monster plants, and have a good time. Luna is glad to have come to this town, and wishes that she could stay here forever. She then reveals to Rude that she's a battle homunculus that was developed in the neighboring nation of Brunkles, and apologizes to him for not revealing the truth. Rude tells her that he already knew that she was a homunculus, and he helped her because she reminded him of the time when Manisha looked at him when they were in slums. He asks her how she truly feels, and Luna mentions that she wants to live as a human. Rude tells her that no rule says a homunculus can't live as a human, and he tells her he has been raiding labyrinths searching for the treasure containing a cure for Manisha's illness, but haven't found it yet. Since they both have unattainable goals, he thinks that they'll get along well, and extends his hand towards her. She accepts, and addresses him as master, which surprises him as it's something that only a homunculus would say, but regardless she wants to call him master. Later, she reveals her identity to Manisha, but she doesn't have any problem with that, and thinks that her brother knew this all along. The following day, they help to clean a town estate along with the townsfolk, and just then, Manisha comes with the tea. Everyone rushes towards it, and Luna notices that Rude is racing to be the first to drink his sister's tea. After having the drink, the townsfolk want to have a duel with Rude, but he tells them that he will fight with them after he has a duel with Phil. He wants to test out his new skills, and with Phil he wouldn't have to hold back. As the duel begins, Phil charges him with blows, and he thinks that she has gotten stronger than the last time they fought. The townsfolk cheer for Phil, while Luna and Manisha cheer for Rude. He gets distracted by their cheer, and Phil uses this chance to attack him. However, Rude blocks it, and counters it, making Phil fly into the air. She falls to the ground, and is surprised that her shield energy is depleted in one hit. Rude walks up to Phil, and compliments her for getting stronger. She then asks him about the skill he used to defeat her, and tells her the skill is called life conversion. This skill allows him to turn the shield force consumed in battle into power, and he thanks her for letting him try on her. Till now, he has always focused on defense, but with this new skill he can participate in attacking as well. He then asks the town folks for the duel, but they all chicken out after seeing his incredible skill. Later at night, Manisha dreams about her past when she was abandoned due to her illness, but Rude came back to rescue her. She wonders if Rude is actually happy, and thinks that he would live more freely if he didn't have to look after her. The following morning Manisha acts a bit weird around Rude, and serves him breakfast. Luna comes in, and apologizes for being late for preparing breakfast, but she notices that Manisha has already prepared it. Luna thinks that she's not doing anything to help, but Rude tells her not to worry about it, as they should help each other out. Luna thinks that Rude and Manisha are rather knowledgeable, and she wonders who taught them these skills. Rude explains that they learned it under an apprenticeship, which is basically a master-student relationship. When they were young there was an effort by the nobles to return the kids from slums to a normal life, and because of this they were able to attend a night school. Rude then leaves for the town, and Manisha recalls the time in night school. We learn that Rude was an incredible student who was a class topper, and everyone expected him to become a knight, but she heard some students talking that he is going to become an adventurer to find a cure to her illness. They think that Rude is wasting his talent because of his little sister, and her existence has closed off many paths for her brother. Just then, Luna comes to the room, and she notices Manisha feeling sad. Manisha asks her what she would do if she knew that someone was throwing his life away for her, and they would be much happier following another path. Luna thinks no one would go that far for her, but she thinks doing this is what makes that person happy. Luna thinks that Manisha must be talking about Rude, but she tries to deny it. Luna tells her that Rude saved an illegal homunculus like her, so perhaps the way he thinks is different, so she should talk to him. Manisha isn't sure about this, and thinks that she can't rely on him too much. This is why she's trying to keep her distance from him, but she wants to be kind to her brother, so she doesn't know what to do. Luna tells her that she should tell him how she feels, and just then, she notices that Rude is coming back with her marker skill. Luna encourages her to tell him, and Manisha wonders what she would do if she finds out that her brother regrets saving her. Luna supports her, and Manisha asks if Rude is happy with his current life. Rude tells her that he is, and Manisha asks him why he saved her when she was abandoned. Rude tells her that it's because she also saved him once, but she doesn't remember saving him. Rude reminds her that when he was little, the other kids were scared of him because he was bigger than them, and his face looked unfriendly, but Manisha never acted afraid of him. This made him happy every time, although he did have his doubts when he decided to live with Manisha, but he still thinks that he made the right choice. He loves spending time with her, and he's the happiest when he's with her. Manisha cries out of joy hearing this, as she thought Rude would be unhappy because of her, and due to this she didn't know how to act around him. She then hugs him, and mentions that she should have gotten her act together as she knows Rude better than anyone. Rude and Manisha then thank Luna, and she is happy to hear this, and goes to prepare lunch. Just then, they hear a knock at the door, and it's Neen. She's here to visit Rude as she got some time off, and he's surprised that Keild allowed her. She tells him that it was the church who allowed her, and she's not a member of the heroes' party anymore. She tells him that after he left, they kept failing to clear the labyrinths, and their party disbanded. She then explains the incident which led to this, and we see that during a raid they faced a fearsome monster. They were unable to even put a single scratch on it, and Keild wondered why his shield energy was depleting faster than before. He thinks that it could be because Rude is not with them, and some more monsters appear. Keild then used his life burst skill which cost him 1000 shield points, and was surprised as he never knew that this skill would cost that much. He thinks that ever since Rude left, his shield energy has been depleting faster, and his skills have gotten weaker, but he still refuses to accept that Rude was the one holding their party together. He manages to defeat one of the monsters, but more monsters keep appearing. His party members tried to warn him, but he didn't listen, and kept fighting. He tried to use his life burst skill, but it didn't activate, and one of the monsters attacked him which broke his shield. He received some damage, and was surprised as he couldn't believe that it would hurt so much without his shield. The monster then attacked him again which broke several of his bones. After this, Keild was terrified, and Lilia saved him. They used Lily's dungeon walk spell to escape the dungeon, and afterwards the injured Keild was furious at his party members. Neen told him that it's not their fault, and it was his fault for charging in like an idiot. She asked him when did he quit training, as he has gotten scrawny and unhealthy from all the drinking. He has been relying on nothing but his life burst skill all this time, and tells him that this isn't enough to clear the dungeon. Keild tells her that it used to work before, but she tells him that it was only because Rude was with them. Now that he has left, Keild must have realized how his skill works. She knows that life burst skill works by converting a major chunk of his shield energy into physical strength, and that time Rude lost his shield energy because Keild used the biggest life burst ever. She thinks that Rude's unknown skill must have allowed him to treat others' shield energy as his own, and he was pushing the cost of his skill onto Rude. This is because he was so strong, but Keild thinks that losing one tank shouldn't screw things up this much. Neen doesn't care, and quits his party. Afterwards, the other members of the party also quit, and Keild tells them that he will recover soon and prove that he's the real hero. Neen tells Rude that this is how their party disbanded, and thinks that this sounds bad. He apologizes, and tells her that he recently learned about his unknown skill. Nin says that it's their own fault for not figuring this out, and apologizes for not noticing that he was taking damage for them. She then meets Luna and Manisha, and tells them that she'll be seeing them around as she plans to stay here for a while. Rude asks her about her stay as they don't have any in around here, and Manisha offers her to stay at their home. Rude secretly informs Manisha that Nin is the daughter of a duke and she's a saint. Rude is worried as he doesn't want to get in trouble with the church for not providing adequate facilities for a saint, but Nin doesn't care about it and decides to stay. Rude then gives her his room, and Nin mentions that she wouldn't mind sharing it with Rude, but Rude being the Jigachad declines her plot development. Just then, Phil appears, and informs about a peculiar monster at the orchard. They head over there, and notice that the monster has caused a lot of damage. They see the monster, and Rude wonders if it's a tiger. He can't see it clearly due to the miasma surrounding it, but Nin removes it with her magic, and thinks that this monster's biological structure is different from any other monster she has seen. It seems like the monster's magic essence has taken over its sense of self, and just then, a soldier attacks it, but the monster tosses him aside. We learn that the soldier is Phil's father named Wild, and the monster tries to attack them again, but Rude uses his provoke skill to lead it away from others. Rude asks the spellcasters to keep casting healing spells on him as he defends them against the monster. The soldier tries to attack the monster while Rude keeps it busy, but they don't stand a chance against it, and Rude takes their damage. Luna and Nin heal him up, and Rude asks the soldier to not be scared as his skill lets him take the damage dealt to their shield. The soldiers stop hesitating, and they attack the monster, which deals some damage to it. The monster tries to escape towards town, but Luna stops it with earth magic. Rude then uses his life conversion skill with all of the damage he has piled up, and manages to defeat the monster, but wonders if he has overdone it as he has caused more damage than the monster. However, Wild thanks him as there is not even a single casualty, and it's all because of him. Rude is glad to hear this, and then thinks that the monster must be a C-rank black wolf, but it was as powerful as an A rank. He notices that the monster had 2 magic stones when magic beasts are only supposed to have a single one. Luna notices that these stones resemble the ones which are used to make homunculus, and Nin thinks that someone has forced these stones into the monster. She thinks that someone must be using homunculus technology on monsters, but mentions that creating it for battle is prohibited. Rude wonders if people have created this for more than just for curiosity, and thinks that for now they should report it to a local lord. Unbeknownst to them, the attack by the beast with 2 magic stones was only the beginning of what was to come. The following day, Rude notices that the newspapers didn't cover anything about the monster which they fought earlier. Manisha comes, and sits on his lap. She asks him to read the newspaper to her, and seeing her cute face he couldn't refuse her. As he reads the news, he learns that Keild has entered a new labyrinth. Manisha mentions that Nin told her that she didn't like him because he makes fun of Rude. However, Rude thinks that Nin has a lot of personal feelings, and Manisha wonders if he neglects Nin's feelings because of her illness. Rude tells her that this is part of the reason, but the real problem is that when he gets into that kind of relationship he ends up clinging to it, which prevents him from raiding the labyrinths, and he can't do both things at same time. Manisha believes that Rude will do just fine, and hopes that he will still care for her even if he finds someone special. After that, we see that Rude has gathered with the town guard and some adventurers in the forest near Avancia. Phil tells them that they are here to hunt and investigate the appearance of a chameleon Kong, as they usually live in the south. She suspects that it has come from a labyrinth, and asks everyone to let her know if they find an entrance to the labyrinth. Nin notices that Rude has a new sword, and he tells her that it was made by the town's blacksmith. This sword has a special magic stone, and he can add different types of magic to the sword using it, like the fire magic which can be used to target a monster's weakness, but his magic is not strong enough for combat. A C-rank adventurer who also came there to hunt with them thinks that this sword is wasted on a F-rank loser like Rude, and tells him to head home. Luna gets mad, and wonders why Rude doesn't say anything, but he would rather be underestimated than overestimated. Luna doesn't like seeing people make fun of Rude, and Nin mentions that it happens because Rude never updates his rank at the guild. He is actually strong enough for a saint like her, but Rude doesn't want to raise his ranks as the guild will start summoning him, and it will get in the way of finding cure for his sister. Just then the calm monster appears, and it attacks them. Rude uses his provoke skill to gain its attention, while the others surround and attack it. However, Rude senses something is wrong, as it appears to be purposefully grabbing their attention, much like a human tank would. Just then, 2 other Kongs appear and surround them. Phil and the town guards are surprised that these monsters were smart enough to create a diversion, and Phil thinks she can't handle this. Rude encourages her, and tells her that he knows that she'll find a way. Rude then uses his provoke skill on all the monsters, and while he keeps them busy, Luna attacks one of them. The other adventurers also chip in, and they manage to kill one. Rude then uses the fire enchant magic on his sword, and uses it to injure one monster, while Phil and town guards help him to take it down. Now only one monster remains, and it attacks Rude. Luna and Nin help him to incapacitate the monster, and Rude takes it down. They defeat all the monsters, and the adventurer apologizes for making fun of him. The monsters then disappear, leaving behind magic stones, and Rude thinks this is how monsters die in the labyrinths, and just then, they spot the labyrinth entrance. We then cut to all the residents partying at night, where Phil toasts to further development of the town due to the appearance of a new labyrinth. Luna notices that Rude doesn't seem to be happy, and just then a guard offers Meikyū a drink. Rude gets angry, but tells him that he'll drink with him, and they leave. Luna then learns from Nin that if labyrinth monsters aren't defeated, they leave the labyrinths like the chameleon Kongs they encountered, and if this keeps happening it will become a threat to nearby residents. Luna thinks that they can get more people to take care of it, but Nin tells her that anyone can become adventurers, and it includes the worst kinds of people. There may be people who stalk cute girls, and they might prey on Luna or Meikyū. Luna wonders in this case how they would organize the adventures, and just then Rude appears and he mentions that they can do it by forming clans. Adventurers who are a part of a clan are officially recognized by the nation and are responsible for defending towns just like knights. Avancia has only few fighters, so without a clan it's possible that the adventurers that end up here will do whatever they want, and he thinks that this can also put his sister in danger, but Nin tells him not to worry too much, as she'll help him out. Just then, a drunk Phil comes there, and hugs Rude, while Rude hopes he doesn't get suffocated by her plots. After that, a week passes, and Rude sees 2 adventurers fighting in town, but he scares them off. Just then, Nin appears, and we learn that Rude was patrolling the town. Many adventurers showed up when the labyrinth appeared, and they are well acquainted with Rude. Nin thinks that he has been fulfilling a lot of requests lately, and just then, they hear about another fight. It's between the Black Dragon Fang clan member named Boo, and a White Tiger Claw clan member named Gully. They are both A ranks, but when they are about to fight, Rude intervenes. They ask him to stay out of it, but Rude tells them to stop. They then tell him to decide which clan should stay in the town, but Rude tells them that they don't need any clans that cause trouble. One of the clan members then tries to attack Rude, but he stops the attack bare-handed. Nin also prepares for the fight, and Rude mentions that this town has its own rules, so if they still insist, he will take them on. Seeing this, both clans apologize to him, and they try to recruit him into their clans. He refuses their offer, and they leave, but Rude thinks that he once dreamed of joining a clan that operated like a family. Just then, a town guard tells him that Vwild is looking for him, and we then cut to Rude meeting him. Vwild informs him that the Lord of the Domain has contacted him, and he was told to choose between 2 options. The first is for Rude to create his own clan, and become a leader. However, Rude refuses it as he has to cure Meishi's illness. The second option is to destroy Avancia's labyrinth, but Rude thinks that this would hurt the town's development. Keild tells him that numerous labyrinths have surfaced around the nation, but all of them can't be managed. So, the decision is up to Rude to become a clan leader to manage the labyrinth, or destroy it. Later, as Rude wonders about the decision, he notices a few drunk people fighting. He tries to stop them, but they tell him to stay out of it as he's just an adventurer. Rude thinks that forming a clan is the only way to get the situation under control. Just then, Luna comes and informs him that Meikyū has fallen ill. Rude goes back to the house, where Gigi tells him that she's just under the weather, and Meikyū asks him not to worry. Rude then thinks that if he becomes the clan leader he wouldn't be able to leave Avancia for a long time, and thinks that Meikyū will never be cured if he stays in this town. He then asks Luna and Nin to form a party with him to destroy Avancia's labyrinth, and tells them the whole situation. Luna suggests that after becoming clan leader, he can leave behind a representative to handle things for him so that he doesn't have to stay behind. Rude thinks that it's possible, but he wouldn't want to force anyone into that position. Luna mentions that she would gladly take that position, as she wants to help him in any way she can. Nin tells him that she'll quit the church to join his clan, and support Luna. Meikyū then comes there, and mentions that she also loves this town, and if there is a way for him to protect it, he should do it. She tells him that she feels fine now, but Rude notices that she's clearly not fine, but seeing her courage he decides to protect both this town, and his sister. He asks everyone to help him, and they all agree to do so. As the story continues, we learn that Rude has decided to save both Meikyū, and the town. He was working towards forming a clan, but he got summoned by adventurers exploring Avancia's labyrinth, and it also has his old party members. We then see him meeting Lilia, Lily, and a church knight named Sugol. Luna introduces herself, and inside they meet Keild, who's badly injured. He explains that they encountered a sentient guardian, and they are responsible for his condition. He wants Rude to explore the labyrinth, and finish the mission. He mentions that he has learned that the reason for his strength was due to Rude's ability, and apologizes for everything. He asks him to be safe, and Rude promises to defeat the guardian. We then see Rude's party at Avancia's labyrinth, and they use a magic circle. Luna asks about the circle's purpose, and Nin explains it will teleport them to the first floor. On the first floor, Luna can't believe there's such a huge area inside the labyrinth. Rude tells her the sun here doesn't move, and the space inside is warped. Luna notices the magic circle has disappeared, and Rude explains they must find another to leave. Nin reassures her, mentioning Lily's dungeon walk skill which will allow them to travel between visited floors, but only 6 people can be teleported this way. Rude mentions they have another spell, and Nin shows her an emergency escape spell. Luna is intrigued, and wants to try. She casts the emergency escape spell in one try, surprising the others, and Rude thinks it's due to her combat homunculus ability. Just then, they get attacked by 3 chameleon Kongs, and Rude uses his provoke skill on one of the Kongs, while the others deal with the rest. The Kongs are no match for their party, and the guardian of the labyrinth observes them. Later, Rude and his party reach the 5th floor. Lilia mentions that this is where they met the guardian last time, but he's not present now. They are then attacked by 2 Fieldosaurus, which Rude handles on his own, and asks the others to find the magic circle. Nin manages to locate it, and they move on. Meanwhile, the guardian is observing their each move, while Rude's party continue to advance. Nin mentions that the next is the 10th floor, and Rude thanks everyone for helping with his selfish goals. Lilia reassures him, and Nin mentions that the real test is still to come. They teleport to the 10th floor, where the guardian commends them on their hard work. He introduces himself as Marius, and Rude realizes that he is the sentient guardian. Rude wonders why he wasn't on the 5th floor, and Marius reveals that he waited on the 10th floor to face strong adventurers without holding back. Marius attacks, and Rude notices that he's strong. He suggests talking instead of fighting, but Marius believes conversations happen through the clash of blades. The group attacks him, but Marius blocks all their attack. As they fight, Marius reveals his true form, a giant undead skeleton. Rude decides they must fight to cure Meikyū, and they work together to attack him. Rude uses his provoke skill to draw his attention, and Lilia attacks it. Sugol suggests taking turns to draw the enemy's attention, and they continue the fight. After fighting for a while, everyone's shield energy depletes, and Rude realizes they can't take more hits. He instructs Sugol, Nen, Lily, and Luna on their roles, and recalls their pre-labyrinth strategy meeting, where they discuss on relying Rude's life exchange skill for a final attack. We then see that everyone is getting tired due to the long battle, and Luna tries to help in the front lines, but Nen stops her, and asks her to be patient. Luna understands, and she then uses her healing magic to heal the others. Rude thinks that his shield energy has depleted by 30,000, and he uses his life conversion skill to attack Marius. The attack deals some damage, but it's not enough to take him down, and Rude thinks that he might be able to take him down with one more life conversion skill. Marius then uses earth magic to attack them, but Rude protects everyone. Marius attacks them again, and Rude notices that all of the party members are exhausted. Rude thinks that he doesn't want them to risk their lives for his sake, and he tells everyone to retreat, but Nen objects. She tells him that they can't turn back now, and asks Rude not to say something so pathetic. Rude then blocks one of Marius's attacks, and he asks everyone to help him so he can save Meikyū. Lily and Lilia then use a different form of Dragon Ball fusion, and they become Lilia. She charges at Marius with multiple attacks, and others also join in. Rude uses his life conversion skill again, but it's still not enough. However, when Marius attacks again, he blocks, and uses the damage to unleash another life conversion skill, which finally takes him out. Marius turns to his human form, and he's ready to be executed. However, Rude tells him that they are here to just talk, and asks him about the treasure which grants wishes. Marius then gives him a magic stone, and mentions that if Rude infuses it with mana, he'll be able to make his wish. Rude then tells him that he doesn't want the labyrinth to disappear, so he wants Marius to keep ruling the labyrinth. Marius agrees to work with Rude, and we then cut to Rude giving Meikyū the magic stone. She asks the magic stone to grant her wish, and the stone breaks into pieces. Rude wonders if Meikyū is feeling any change, and she mentions that now she has a bit more energy than usual. Rude hugs her after hearing this, and he's glad that everything he has done until now was not in vain. Later, Marius comes to Rude's house, and tells him that as of today, Rude is going to be the guardian of Labyrinth, shocking Rude. Later, we learn that the town has transformed considerably, and Rude is having a tough time managing it, as he is the new clan leader. Just then, Boo and Gully appear, and ask him to get someone for help, and he tells them that's why he called them. We then cut to Rude with Nen, and she thinks that these fights break out due to the good materials they get from Fieldosaurus. They think that they need more people to help them manage the clan, and we learn that Meikyū is handling the office work, but Rude doesn't want to push her too hard. He had asked Lilia for help, but she didn't know enough to teach someone, and suggested forming an alliance with other clans. Also, he should look for an equal alliance, but they're not likely to agree unless he offers them something beneficial. Rude thinks that all they can offer is their combat strength, and he has told people that he drove off the Guardian to protect Marius. He has been doing what he can after talking with Lilia, and Nen thinks that at this rate they would become a major clan, but she sounds disappointed as if that happens she would have less time for plot development with him. She tells him to use her to promote the clan if he ever has trouble finding people, but he thinks she wouldn't like it. Just then, Marius appears, asking him to manage the labyrinth, but Rude denies him as he's busy. Marius tells him that he can help Rude stop fights by becoming a clan member, but Rude wonders if it's fine for a guardian like him to wander around. Marius tells him it's fine, and they ask Marius if he has any grudge against humanity. Marius shows a serious expression, but he was just messing with them, and tells them he doesn't have any grudge. Rude allows him to become a member, and asks him about managing the labyrinth. After that, Marius uses a teleportation gate to take Rude to his place, and tells him that the lake displays the interior of the labyrinth. He explains about the point system where the number at the top represents his points, which he can use to create and replicate monsters. He can gain points over time, and by depleting the shield energy of adventurers. Marius then shows him how it works by replicating a goblin, and places it in front of some adventurers. He tells Rude that currently he can replicate goblins, axe orcs, chameleon kongs, and Fieldosaurus. The monsters can be only replicated from the originals which they create, and if they build trust with monsters, they can take a liking to them. Rude notices that it costs over 1,000,000 points to create the rare monsters, but Marius tells him about an option which allows to create a monster at random. Rude tries it out, and gets a slime monster, which takes a liking to him. He notices that they can now replicate slimes as well, and given enough time, they might evolve into S-rank monsters. He thinks that most adventurers are here for the Fieldosaurus, but once the materials become widely available, the activity will die out. However, by using this option he can create a variety of monsters, and this will also help him to manage his clan. Slime then hits Rude as he's not paying attention to it, and that hit got them 1,000 points. Rude gets an idea, and he tells Marius that he'll take over managing the labyrinth after deciding what kind of labyrinth he needs to attract adventurers. Till then he asks Marius to continue managing the labyrinth, and he leaves with the slime. We then see Rude reaching back at home, where Luna and Menasha are surprised to see the slime, and Rude mentions that Menasha always wanted a pet. They decide to keep it as a pet, and name it Lime. We then cut to Boo asking his clan leader to ally with Rude's clan, and Gully checks the same with his clan leader, and both clan leaders decide to send Rude an invitation to the ball. Several days later, we see Rude and party arriving in the town of Keild to attend a joint ball which is hosted by both the clans. Marius then notices some flags, and Rude tells him it's the flag of the Black Dragon Claw and White Dragon Claw clan. He recalls receiving the invitation to the ball, and discussing it with his party. Neen asked him about their motive, as this doesn't seem like a friendly invitation. Rude tells her that they've rejected their request to form an alliance, and that they would only consider it if they agree to serve under them, but the main problem is that they want Neen, as she's famous as a saint in all the clans. Neen doesn't want to join any other clan except for Rude's, and he respects her decision, but he still plans to attend the ball as it would give him a chance to speak to the clan leaders directly. Marius then mentions that he recently noticed another labyrinth with a sentient guardian like him, and it was in Keild. Rude is surprised, and thinks that he might be able to acquire another magic stone, which can help cure Menasha completely. Neen tells them that she has heard that the two major clans have only made it to the 50th floor of that labyrinth, but Rude thinks that their clan have grown stronger since their last raid. He tells them that their objective in this trip would be to raid the labyrinth, and asking clans for help. We then cut to the present, and we see Rude and party getting ready for the ball. We see that the girls have dressed up nicely, and they then go to the party hall. At the party, everyone notices Neen, and wonders what she's doing here. Some of them mention that she's going to join their clan, but Neen intends to change their opinion. After that, Rude and party have the dinner, and then the sub-leaders of both clans greet the attendees. Ike is the sub-leader of Black Dragon Claw, and Cynthia is the sub-leader of the White Tiger Claw. They invite Neen on the stage as a special guest, and Rude goes with her to the stage. He introduces himself as the clan leader of Nin's clan, and Ike recognizes him as the tank of the hero party. He tells them that Kiglas used to take his advice on party composition, and it's revealed that it was Ike who advised Kiglas to kick his tank. Ike then asks Neen to join their clan, but Cynthia also intervenes to make Neen join her clan. However, Rude tells them that he won't trade her, and he's just here to form an alliance. Ike mentions that he can't trust a clan who is led by a tank, but Nin tells him that Rude is the strongest tank. Rude then takes the mic, and mentions that they are here to raid the Keild Labyrinth. He tells them that his clan is the strongest, and they will prove this by entering level 51, which the two major clans couldn't clear. Just then, the leader of the Black Dragon Claw named Gosh introduces himself, and Rude could tell from his handshake that he's powerful. Gosh announces that if Rude can raid the labyrinth, he will form an alliance with him, and throws away the mic to the White Tiger Claw leader named Little, who offers the same if Rude can conquer the labyrinth. After that, we see Marius asking Rude why doesn't everyone respect his strength, and Rude mentions that people can't tell how strong someone is just by looking at them. Marius mentions that they will conquer the labyrinth, and prove them all wrong. He then leaves to take a bath, and Rude meets Luna and Nin, who tells him that his speech was incredible, and Nin thanks him for protecting her. It made her really happy, and Rude mentions that she's his valued friend. The girls leave, and Rude thinks that conquering the labyrinth won't be easy as not even the two major clans were able to do this, but he'll do it in order to protect his clan, and friends. Rude then comes across Lily, and she pulls him into her room. He wonders if he will get any plot development, but is disappointed to learn that she just wants him to tie the strings in the back of her dress. Rude helps her, and she thanks him. She plans to surprise her sister with some tea, and as Rude tries to head back she stops him. She tells Rude that she was impressed by his intention to become clan leader at the ball, while she's too weak to reveal her true intentions. She doesn't want to impose on her sister, and wants to learn to support herself. She was a fool ever since she was a child, and made many mistakes, but her sister always protected her. All she does is support her from behind, even when they fuse. It is her sister who is in charge of their shared body. She wants to be more independent, and Rude offers to help her in any way he can. She gets excited, and starts jumping, but she slips. Just then, her sister appears, and she sees Lily on top of Rude. Lilia is mad, and she asks Rude to come with her to the roof. At the roof, Rude wonders if she is going to throw him from there, but she tells him that she trusts him, but if it were any other guy, she would have thrown him off. She mentions that she was just pretending to get Rude on the roof, and asks him if she has ever told anyone about them. We learn that their parents used to abuse them, especially their father, and they ran away. She was surprised to see Lily having a normal conversation with a man, and one day she hopes to take her to a place where she can truly be happy. Rude mentions that Lily told him that Lilia was perfect, but she doesn't seem to think so, and Rude agrees with her, which surprises her. He tells her that when it comes to her sister she loses her cool, and Lilia thinks that it's ironic coming from him. She thanks him for listening to her, and Rude mentions that she can always talk to him about anything. The following day, Rude's party heads out to the Keild Labyrinth, and they meet with Lily and Lilia who went ahead to scout. They tell them that they were escorted by one of the explorers to the 49th floor, and now they can use their dungeon walk ability to take everyone there. They have been gathering information, and looked into the party compositions which the two major clans used on their raids. The Black Dragon Fang took 4 attackers, including their leader and 2 healers for support, while the White Tiger Claw took 4 magic attackers and 2 healers. Both clans used speed-focused compositions, and their attackers functioned as tanks. Also, every floor has monsters that inflict status effects, but Rude thinks that his ability should help it nullify them, and they resolve to make it to the 51st floor. Later, they have a strategy meeting, and Rude tells everyone their role for the battle. Lily asks if she can issue commands during battle, and Rude thinks that she's trying to change as per their previous conversation. He agrees, and asks Nin to assist her. After that, they go to the 45th floor, and Rude notices that this floor is not favorable for speed-focused fighters, but as a tank this could be good for him. Marius senses some monsters ahead, and Rude can sense it as well, as he is now the manager of Avancia Labyrinth. They can take 2 paths which lead to the same place, but monsters appear on both. If they choose one path, the monsters from the other path will come up behind them. Just then, a poison lizard and a black owl attack them. Rude uses his provoke skill to get their attention, and the lizard attacks Rude with its poison, but it has no effect. He attacks the lizard, and defends against Black Owl's attack. He tries to attack the owl, but it blocks his attack with magic. However, Marius kills the owl with its sword, but another one appears. Lily kills it, but more owls keep appearing. Lily thinks there's no need to keep fighting them, and Rude tells the party to go ahead, while he uses the flash magic stone to escape. We then cut to the group resting, and Neen mentions that Lily makes a good commander. Neen then mentions that earlier she noticed that they can decide whether or not they can let Rude absorb their damage, and Marius thinks that this could be because Rude has improved after his battle with him. Since, now they can dispel the effect themselves, they don't want Rude to take their damage. They also praise him for his ability to perfectly draw the attention of monsters, and Marius mentions that he should learn self-heal skill as well. Marius wonders if humans don't know how to use such skill, and they wonder about his origin as he is not human. He tells them that he is a demonoid, and explains that long ago, there were demonoids apart from humans and demi-humans. They look similar to demi-humans, but they have sworn loyalty to demons, instead of the god worshipped by humans. He tells them that Labyrinth were originally created by demons to destroy the world of humans, and Neen is surprised as she thought that God created labyrinths to enrich their lives, as that's what they've been told through generations. Marius thinks that a demonoid probably manages this labyrinth as well, and it seems strong, so they should be careful when fighting it. Rude asks if Marius is fine with fighting one of his own, and Marius mentions that he doesn't like what they are doing with their lives, so he'll fight them. Lily mentions that they should discuss how they are going to fight, and tells them the plan. After that, we see that the group has made their way to the 50th floor after killing several monsters on the other floors. There they encounter a bone dragon, and Rude uses his provoke skill to get its attention. He recalls Lily telling them about the bone dragon, which is known for frequently causing status effects, so they will get Rude to charge in while the rest stay out of its range. Also, since it's weak to fire, they should enchant their weapons with fire, and use fire spells. We then see Rude fighting the dragon, and it launches some spikes, but he manages to block it. The dragon attacks him again, but he blocks it, and Marius and Lilia assist him. They keep attacking the dragon, and it launches spikes in all directions. Marius and Lily get some scratches, but they notice that it had a poison effect. Neen and Luna try to heal them, while Rude distracts the dragon. Rude tries to use his provoke skill, but it ignores it, and attacks him with sludge which sticks to his shield. Neen cleans his shield with water magic, and casts an area heal spell which allows the shield energy recovery. They then continue to fight the dragon, and an hour passes, but they still haven't defeated it. The dragon then uses fire breath, but Rude blocks the attack. He continues to fight it, and when his shield energy gets low, he uses the healing area to restore it, while others continue to attack the dragon. After healing, Rude uses his life conversion skill to attack the dragon, which defeats it, and they manage to clear the 50th floor. He decides to call it a day, and come back later to the 51st floor. Later, we see Lily asking him not to sell the materials from the labyrinth in order to avoid letting anyone know about their progress on the raid, and Rude agrees to sell it later. Neen praises her for Lily's commanding skills, and suggests having a party. However, Lilia mentions that she's tired, so she'll take a pass, and Lily goes with her. After that, we see Luna, Neen and Rude at the after party. Luna sees Neen having alcohol, and wonders if it really tastes good. Neen asks her to try it out, and Rude wonders if a homunculus can drink, but lets Luna try it out. Luna thinks it's bitter, and we learn that Neen wanted Luna to try it out to see her reaction. Neen then asks Rude if he's having plot development with Lily and Lilia, but Rude mentions that his Excalibur has never been unsheathed. He's just worried that he might be imposing on them, as they are helping him out a lot even though they are not his clan members. Nin then tries plot development with Rude, but since he has Siscon, his only priority is to cure her sister, and until then he will remain single. Luna is surprised to learn that Rude is not dating anyone, and she's a bit drunk. Luna mentions that she gets a warm feeling in her chest when he is with her, and she likes to spend more time with him. Rude agrees to do that, but thinks that Luna needs to sober up first. Later, when Rude returns to his room, he is surprised to see Lilia sleeping on his bed. She wakes up, and mentions that she wanted to ask him something, so she asked Marius to let her in, but she fell asleep as she was tired from their raid. She mentions that her sister Lily worked hard today, and she has always been able to get things done if she puts her mind to it. Rude thinks the same, and he thinks Lily is really capable, but Lilia is afraid of this change. She asks Rude if he likes change, but he tells her that he doesn't like it either, especially not what's been happening to Avancia, and he feels if things stayed the same. At the same time, he is also glad that things have changed, as Avancia wouldn't have gotten this lively, and their best option is to enjoy the change. Lilia also hopes that things stay the same, and she's sad to see Lily drifting away. Rude thinks that Lilia's inability to let her sister go might be a bigger problem than Lily's desire to be independent, and he tells her that some things are going to change, but he is sure that Lily and Lilia will continue to live together forever. Lilia is relieved to hear this, and mentions that Lily was so good today that she couldn't look at her, but starting tomorrow she won't turn away from Lily, and Rude wishes her luck. We then cut to Rude's party at the first floor of the Labyrinth, and they are going to the 51st floor. Lily explains that the 51st floor is as far as the two major clans have gone, and they don't have much info about it as the fog in that level is dense. They then use Lilia's dungeon walk ability to reach the 51st floor, and Lily mentions that her detection magic is not working. Luna tries her wind magic to clear the fog, but that doesn't work either, and they learn that the fog is filled with mana. Rude then tries to locate the monsters based on their mana, although it's not perfect, he manages to find out that they're about to attack. Everyone prepares to fight, and Rude uses his provoke skill on the monsters. The monster attacks them with water and earth magic. They have difficulty due to fog, but Rude notices that the monsters haven't surrounded them, and asks them to flee in the northwest direction. Rude uses his provoke skill again, and notices that they are monsters called Sahajin. Rude and party fight the monsters, and they defeat all of them. After that, the group decides to take a break, and later, Marius is surprised to see the girls cooking the monsters. Rude then checks the drop item, and Lilia thinks it's top-class stuff. She thanks Rude for their last night conversation, as now she has no trouble looking at Lily, and they have their monster food. After that, they head to the next floor, and come across a dark skeleton with 3 crystals surrounding it. Rude uses his provoke skill to charge at it, but the yellow crystal blocks his attack by creating a barrier, while the red one attacks him with fire magic. The blue one makes the monster faster, and Rude understands how the crystals work. Yellow acts like a tank, the blue casts enhancing magic, and the red casts offensive spells. He draws the monster's attention, while Lilia and Marius attack it, but it manages to block their attack. The monster then uses a flash to blind them, and they notice Lilia is acting strange. She attacks Marius, and tells him to stop hurting Lily. Rude realizes that she is under the status effects, and asks Nin to cure her, but she is busy curing Luna and Lily, who are also under the monster's status effect. Rude learns that only Marius, Nin, and him are resistant to status effects. He uses his life conversion ability to attack the monster, and asks Marius to keep it busy, while he deals with Lilia. Rude uses his provoke skill on Lilia, and pins her down. He realizes that she's having a vision of her past trauma, and manages to bring her back to her senses. Rude then asks Marius to back off from the monster, and Marius mentions that they have to destroy the yellow crystal before they can deal with it, but Rude thinks it won't be easy. The monster then attacks them with fire, and Nin uses her water magic to support him. Rude charges in, but the barrier blocks his attack. However, Rude notices a drop of water reaching the monster, and he learns that the skeleton can't block both magic and physical attack at the same time. They then try to use both types of attack at once, and it works. They continue to fight the monster, and it tries to inflict its status effect again, but it doesn't work as Nin's spell nullifies the effect. Everyone uses the magic to attack the monster, while Rude charges it with his life conversion skill. This weakens the monster, but it makes a copy of itself, and they can't identify the real one. Luna recognizes the real one, and they all attack it, and eventually defeat it. They decide to take a break, and Lily tries to find the circle with detection magic, but she can't locate it. Rude wonders if they have reached the bottom of the floor, and Marius has no idea what the Guardian is thinking. Marius wonders if the skeleton was their masterpiece, and they fled when it was defeated. They then decide to leave, but just then a girl appears behind Rude, and she bites him. Rude wonders who the girl is, and just then 4 more dark skeletons show up. Rude thinks that they can't handle 4 at once right now, but the girl defeats all of them in an instant, and Marius mentions that she is a demon king. Rude thinks that she must be the guardian of this labyrinth, and she uses her evil eye to release waves of her mana, but she's surprised that they didn't get afflicted with status effects. She asks Rude if they are not afraid of her, but he thinks that she's a cute little girl, who would make a great addition to his harem. The girl is happy to hear this, and introduces herself as Amon Sloth. Marius tells Rude not to judge her by appearance, as she's a 300-year-old hag, and this makes Amon attack Marius, but Rude protects him. She wonders why a failed demon king like him has allied with humans, and Marius mentions that he just hates demon kings. Amon asks them to stay away, as she thinks that they don't stand a chance against her, but Rude tells her that although their individual strength may not match her, she is facing a whole group who might be able to beat her. Amon is interested to see how well they can do, and Rude uses his provoke skill. They all try to attack her, but they can't seem to land a hit. Rude then tries to attack her again, and she dodges his attack, but Nin manages to land a hit with her magic. Lilia and Marius also try to attack her, but she's still too strong for them. Rude uses his provoke skill again, and Lily uses her magic on her. Rude then surprises her with a flash magic, and Marius and Lilia manage to land a hit on her. Amon then creates a storm around her, and Nin casts an area heal spell. They think that she's the strongest opponent they ever faced, but they hope to defeat her by working together. After the storm passes, we see that Amon has transformed into a Fenrir. Rude defends against her attack while Lilia and Marius attack it, but they can't even put a scratch on her. Luna and Lily then attack her, but it's not effective. Amon attacks Rude again, and Rude notices that her attacks have gotten stronger. Just then, Marius attacks her, and manages to injure her. Nin casts a status effect nullifying spell, and Amon tries to attack Rude again, but his shield energy holds on. After that, they continue fighting Amon, and keep dealing damage. Amon then creates a wind barrier that cuts anyone who gets close to it, and Rude thinks that they might be able to defeat it if they can disable the barrier. Nin then tries to cast the spell to disable the barrier, while others buy her time by fighting Amon. Nin manages to disable the barrier, and they all attack it. Rude uses his life conversion skill, but it's still not enough to defeat it. Amon uses an offensive wind spell to attack them, and Rude tries to block it, however, Lilia and Marius get injured. Rude asks the girls to heal them, and he charges in to fight. Amon tries to cast a wind spell, but she's become too weak to cast it. Rude thinks that they should retreat now, but Lily tells him that she'll use her fusion skill, and fight as an attacker. Given how weak Amon is, she thinks that they must be close to beating it, and Rude eventually agrees. Rude then keeps blocking Amon's attack, but gets hit. Nin heals him, and Lily tries to attack Amon, but she can't seem to land a hit, as her attacks are too predictable. Rude protects her, and tells her to fight in her own way. Lily understands, but Rude thinks he won't be able to hold on much longer. He recalls how Marius used his mana like shield energy, and Rude tries to do the same. Although it was not perfect, it works, and he notices that the pain in his body has decreased. He manages to block her attacks by using more mana, and Lily attacks her by imbuing her sword with various elements, which finally defeats Amon. Lily falls due to exhaustion, but Rude catches her, and thanks her for the victory. She then rests along with Lilia, and Rude asks Amon if she still intends to fight. However, Amon can't move a muscle, and thinks that it was an impressive battle. Rude then asks her about the magic stone, and Amon gives him the stone. Amon wonders why isn't he finishing her off, and Rude asks her about the goal of the Demon Kings. She tells him that they are playing a game to see who'll destroy the world, and Rude asks Amon to join his party to fight them. Amon mentions that he can use a slave collar to force her to listen to him, but he doesn't want to force her. Amon is moved by his thought, and accepts his offer. After that, during the clan's ball, Rude announces about conquering the Labyrinth, and in exchange for maps and information, they form an alliance with both the clans, but he didn't reveal to them about recruiting Amon. The scene cuts to Rude and the party heading back to Avancia, and Lily thanks him for listening to her request. Rude mentions that she's the reason for their victory, but she states that they achieved this together, and gives him a kiss, surprising Rude. After that, Rude meets up with his sister in Avancia, and gives her the stone. She uses it, and mentions that she feels better now. She thanks Amon for the stone, and tells her that she'll take care of every need, while Amon thinks that with an offer like this, she will stick around for a while. Some time passes, and we see Menasha informing Rude about the list of requests that the townspeople submitted. Rude is surprised to receive the large number of requests, and he's glad that the major clans agreed to form an alliance with them. Just then, Neen appears, and she takes Rude to a girl whom she found lying on the ground. The girl is a homunculus, and Luna heals the girl. She asks them to help her friends who are being attacked in the woods, and Rude decides to go there, but he asks Luna to stay back to look after the girl. We then see two groups of homunculus fighting, where one side has emotions, while the other side is being controlled. Rude saves a girl by blocking the attacks of the controlled homunculus, and tries to reason with them, but they keep charging in. He tells the girl that they are sent by one of their friends, and she tells him that these are combat homunculus from the country Brunkles. Rude asks Neen to heal the group with emotions, and just then Amon appears hearing the commotion. Rude learns from the girl that the other group doesn't have self-awareness like them, and they only carry out orders. Amon tells him that they are just dolls, and are not really alive. Rude resolves to fight them, and he uses his ability to kill them all by destroying their mana stone. Neen finishes healing the homunculus group, and Rude invites them to his home. After that, we see that the homunculus group have settled down in the clan house, and Neen tells him to report this to the mayor, as the townspeople might be wary of the homunculus. He decides to speak to the mayor, and just then, a homunculus named Fair asks to take him with them as he can provide information about what's happening in Brunkles. Rude agrees, and later we see them walking to the mayor holding hands. Although it was suggested by Fair as a form of restraint, they draw attention from the townspeople, but Rude is fine with it. Rude tells her that the people here have never encountered homunculus like her, but they don't mean any harm, and tells her that she doesn't need to force herself to smile in front of him. After that, we see that they have explained the situation to the mayor, and he tells them that he had heard rumors about Brunkles creating homunculus, but this confirms their suspicion. Rude then asks him to offer protection to the homunculus, and also they can use them for the manpower they are lacking. The mayor realizes that Rude plans to use homunculus for work, and he agrees to it. The mayor then asks Fair about the advanced homunculus technology in Brunkles, and she tells him that it's due to a demon king named Greed who showed up 20 years ago. She doesn't know his purpose, but he has improved homunculus technology significantly, and homunculus like them are mass-produced. The mayor agrees to provide them protection, and pass on this information to higher-ups. After that, as they head back, Rude tells her that they'll be under supervision, but she's fine with it. Although they hate humans, they realize that some humans are kind after being saved by Rude, so she's sure that things will get better eventually. After reaching back, Rude informs the homunculus group about the town providing them protection, and he will find jobs for them. Hearing this, some of the homunculus group are terrified, as they think they'll be treated badly, but Rude tells them that it will be a 9-to-6 job under reasonable conditions, and they will also get breaks. The homunculus are excited as they think the working hours are too short, and they also get breaks, while Rude wonders about the terrible conditions they worked in before. Later, we see Meikyū suggesting to give the job of building baths to the homunculus, and Nin thinks it's a great idea, as the adventures give off an unpleasant smell, and some of them don't even wash properly. Rude agrees to it, and asks Meikyū to write the proposal for the mayor. Nin then mentions that Luna has been acting weird, and she's been staying with the homunculus. After that, Rude meets up with Luna, and wonders if she asked the other homunculus about their time in Brunkles. She tells him that she's fortunate that Rude took her in, and he thinks that she may not remember much about her life back then, and was probably shocked to learn it from the other homunculus. He wonders if she told them that she's a homunculus, but she hasn't revealed it as she thinks it will cause trouble to him, and she'll reveal it when the townspeople no longer fear homunculus. She'll do her best to make this a reality, and Rude is glad that he was able to save her. The scene then cuts to Rude walking around town, and he comes across Amon, who tries to suffocate him with her plots, but he doesn't need an old hag, and throws her off. She informs him that she has started giving magic lessons to her students, so that they grow up to be demon kings. Rude then asks her about the demon king Greed, and she tells him that he probably created the homunculus to pass time, as they have unlimited lifespans. Even if they die, they will return to life in the same form, but lose some of their memories in the process. Rude wonders if that was the real purpose of Greed, and she tells him that he also wanted to create the ultimate power. So, homunculus research is just one way of trying to achieve that, but the power Rude possesses is something that Greed failed to achieve. She tells him that according to Greed, the one who possesses both the enchantment through demonic power of mana, and divine power of the absorbed shield would have the ultimate power, and Rude has used them both against his fight with her. He wonders how this led him to create homunculus, and Amon mentions that it was just for experiments. Rude is angry that the homunculus were made to suffer just for experiments, and he'll never forgive him for such an inhumane act. Amon mentions that Rude can't win against Greed with his current strength, and the raw material that forms mana is produced from monsters, so if he consumes it too much he could turn into one, but if he learns to control it, he could even become a demon king. Rude mentions that he doesn't want to be a demon king, and Amon leaves for her magic lessons. Rude thinks that he needs to get stronger so that he can defend against Greed's attack, and just then, he hears a voice in his head to destroy something. After that, we see that the homunculus have been living in Avancia for several weeks, and the construction of the bath is going well. Although some of the townspeople are still at unease, some have now acknowledged them due to their dedicated work. Meanwhile, Rude has been doing mana training in the Labyrinth, so that he can face Greed when he tries to kill him for ultimate power. He then meets up with his party, and sees Nin playing with a baby wyvern whom she got in a gotcha pull, while Lily got a devil fairy. They thank Rude for the familiars, and think being Labyrinth manager is amazing as all monsters love him, but Marius is pissed that those monsters never approached him when he was Labyrinth manager. Later, the public bath opens, but some townsfolk are still not on board, and worry if it's safe since the homunculus built them. Just then, a group of adventurers, and Rude joins them as the first visitors. After that, we see the girls entering the bath, and Lily gives a wash to her sister. Seeing this, Nin also wants to try it with Meikyū, and Amon tells Nin that Rude isn't there to see her transformation. Meikyū wonders what she's talking about, and Amon tells her that Nin is jealous because she has the biggest plot of them all. However, Lily and Lilia want to check her claim, and they all check out her plot. Just then, they hear some noise in the men's bath, and we see that Rude is trying to prevent the guys from peeping into the woman's bath. He wonders why Marius is also trying to peep, and he tells him that he doesn't care about peeping, but he just loves the thrill of it. One of the guys mentions that he wants to see Neen naked although she doesn't have any plot, and Neen overhears this. She's ready to attack them, but Rude tells the guys that all the girls have the same plot size, telling them to leave it to their imagination, and the girls look disappointed. After that, one of the townsfolk asks Rude about the experience, and he tells him that it was great, and the adventurers also like it. Just then, the homunculus named Samimina formally invites him to the bath, and he along with the townspeople tells her that they will try it out. After that, Rude asks the girl about the bath, and although they liked the bath, Neen mentions they feel like they were mocked. Just then Marius appears, mentioning that these girls are easy to imagine with their plot armor, and Lily and Lilia use fusion to attack them. Several days later, we see that the townspeople have accepted the homunculus because of the public bath, and Rude thanks Samimina for their work. Just then, a guard appears, and tells Rude about a huge horde of monsters coming towards Avancia. After that, we see the adventurers gathered, and Rude motivates them to fight against the monsters. He even offers a reward for defeating a single monster, and they are all on board. Meanwhile, Marius and Amon inform Rude about a new powerful labyrinth that was formed, and they think that they're probably cloning monsters inside. They tell Rude that they will support him, and just then, the homunculus group also offers their support. He asks the familiars Bayern and Lufair to do something for him, and we then cut to the homunculus building the defense system. Just then, they notice the monsters coming, and Phil tells the adventurers to attack them with long-range attacks. The adventurers are surprised to see over 300 monsters, but Rude tells them that most of them are just goblins, and they have nothing to fear. The adventurers then attack them with long-range attacks which take care of some goblins, but just then, few goblins cast magic to injure the soldiers. The adventurers are afraid, but just then, Lilia and Marcus join the fight, and Rude charges in using his provoking skill. They work together to take care of the goblins, and the other adventurers are also inspired. They all follow their lead, and manage to take out all of the monsters. After that, we see Neen healing Rude, and he thinks that since the monsters disappeared, it means that they came from the labyrinth. Just then, a guard reports that another horde is appearing, and they even have ogres this time. Rude encourages them, and tells them that they will win, but just then, another group of monsters from Avancia also appears. The adventurers think that they are screwed, but to their surprise they start attacking the other monsters, and we learn this was done by Bayern and Lufair on Rude's command. Rude tells the adventurers that the monsters from Avancia are under his control, and he asks them to back him up. They all fight the monsters together, and we see that they have managed to defeat the monsters. The homunculus praise Rude on his strength, and just then the other townspeople come there with food and other utilities. Amon tells Rude that it was a great idea to replicate their own monsters, and Rude mentions that he got this idea from the enemy, but right now his priority is to conquer the new labyrinth, as he can't ignore a labyrinth that sends out these many monsters. Amon thinks that the new labyrinth belongs to the demon king Greed, and Rude intends to conquer it quickly. He plans to capture him alive, and Amon gives him special shackles that suppress the demon king's abilities. Rude thanks her, and Marius mentions that they should head there now, but Rude tells him that this raid will be led by Neen, Luna, Liliali, and Samimina, who is surprised to hear this. Rude wants to see her strength, and he tells Marius that he needs him to lead the adventurers here, while Amon will lead the magic support squad. Rude thinks that Greed may send monsters again, so he needs Marius to navigate the battlefield, and he agrees. Rude then informs the adventurers about going on the raid in the new labyrinth, and asks them to defend the town. We then cut to Rude's party entering the labyrinth, and Samimina is worried about facing Greed, but Rude tells her not to worry about it. They then enter the labyrinth, and notice that there's nothing inside. There is not even a magic circle, and Rude realizes that this is the bottom floor of the labyrinth. He then feels a tremendous mana around them, and greed appears before them. Rude asks greed to close the labyrinth, and if he surrenders he will spare his life. Rude mentions that they have already dealt with the monster below, and greed shows him a view of the village where many monsters are heading towards it. Rude mentions that he can't conquer Avancia with the forces he has, but greed mentions that he has unlimited points which he can use to summon monsters. Rude tells him that he will stop him before that, and this amuses greed. He wonders why there are 2 homunculus with them, and others are surprised to learn that Luna is a homunculus. Luna reveals her crystal, and Greed is excited to see how much she has grown compared to all of his research. Greed thinks that living outside must have caused her to grow, and asks her to return to him, but she tells him that Rude is her only master now. Neen asks why she hid this fact, and Luna tries to apologize, but the girls have no problem with this, and they prepare to fight. Greed then transforms into his demon form and attacks them. Rude blocks his attacks, and pushes him back. Lilia and Samimina try to attack Greed, but he blocks their attack, and hits Samimina. However, she realizes that Rude absorbed her attack, and tells him that she's ready to sacrifice her life, but Rude doesn't want anyone to die, so he asks her not to throw her life away. Just then, Greed attacks Rude, but the girls cast their magic to protect him. Rude then uses his provoke skill, and pushes him back. Greed then tries to use his magic, but Luna nullifies it. Samimina and Lilia strike him down, and just then, Rude uses the shackles on him. Meanwhile, in Avancia we see the adventurers fighting monsters, and 2 girls are completely surrounded, but they are saved by Kiglas. We then see that Amon is not participating in the battle, and Sugul blackmails her to report to Manisha, who's preparing donuts for her. Amon fires up, and hits the monster with a huge blast. Rude can see all this from the dungeon, and as he decides to bring Greed with them, he sees a crystal on him. Just then, he's attacked by the real Greed, and we learn that this was just his inferior copy. He transforms into his demon form, and starts attacking them. Neen uses her magic to attack Greed, but he dodges her attack. Lilia and Lily use fusion, and attack him, but it doesn't work on him. Greed then powers up, and attacks Rude, damaging half of his shield energy. Neen heals Rude, and he realizes that even Lilia is no match for him, so their best chance is to land a single powerful blow. Rude uses his provoke skill to distract Greed, and Lilia attacks him, but it has no effect. He takes down Lilia, and Rude attacks him with life conversion skill, but it has no effect. Rude then focuses more mana into his body, and manages to injure Greed slightly, but he kicks him away. Rude tries to use life conversion skill again, but Greed manages to break through his shield, and we see Rude lying on the ground. Greed then proceeds to attack his party, while Rude asks them to run away. After a while, he notices that all his party have been taken down, and they are in a bad shape. Luna tries to fight Greed, but he grabs her by the neck, and Rude tries to focus on his mana. Just then, something snaps inside him, and he punches Greed, which sends him flying. Neen wakes up, and notices that Rude has a creepy smile on him. He fights Greed, and begins to overpower him. He hears voices in his head to destroy everything, and he pins down Greed, punching him relentlessly. Neen calls him out, and he tries to attack her, but she slaps him back to his senses. However, his mana is overflowing, and he recalls Amon telling about turning into a monster if he can't control his mana. Rude then focuses, and manages to suppress his mana. He thanks Neen for the help, and mentions that he can't afford to be swallowed by the mana as he has to protect his people. Just then, Greed gets up, and tells him that he'll destroy Avancia soon. Rude asks Neen to keep casting heal magic on him, while he attacks him with his special move. Rude then feels everyone fighting in Avancia, and uses his shield of sacrifice to use the shield energy of everyone. He thanks Greed for showing him the view of Avancia which made this possible, and attacks him with his super powered-up life conversion skill, which defeats him. Later, we see that the adventurers in the town have defeated the monsters, and Rude along with his party return to town. Manasha is glad to see him, and rushes to hug him. Marius and Amon mention that they were able to defend the town, and Rude thanks them. They are all happy to learn that Rude conquered the Labyrinth, and they cheer him on as the strongest tank. This is where the video ends. Hope you liked my recap. Thanks for watching.